Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Let's Ruin Our Day. So, okay, in the past, I have talked about Tumblr's true crime community. Now, when I talk about Tumblr's true crime community, I'm not talking about you level-headed people who are just interested in true crime and are interested in understanding the psychology of these serial killers. I'm talking about the people who are in love or fantasize or romanticize these serial killers. So I'm talking about the dark side of the true crime community. I have in the past talked about them generally, and then I also have a couple of Tumblr videos that were focused on specific people. I never did one specifically on Columbiners. There are so many fucked up Tumblr communities, but this one pisses me off the most because it really is a way to diminish the pain that students, parents, anyone involved with these shooters experienced, right? Even the parents of these shooters, it's spitting in their face to have your little uwu blog about how you think Eric or Dylan were hot. It's fucked up, and you might say, oh, they're not hurting anyone, but that's just not true because there's still people who survived, there's still people who died, and it's fucked to be like, oh my god, he was so cute, and making aesthetic edits. That's not... I don't think I need to explain why that's not okay. I decided to look up Columbiners. Now, I thought my day was bad enough because prior to looking this up, I decided to look up if there were pedophiles who were also cannibals who also used puppets. And that's the thing. I didn't want to post that video because I don't know if anyone really wants to see that. If you do, let me know. But I thought my day was ruined enough. But no, I have to go a step further. Now, a little bit of background information. I'm certain that most of you know enough about Columbine to understand the posts I'm going to show you, but I'm going to give some background information in case you don't know, in case you don't remember, whatever. Ti posso richiamare tra 10 minuti?
Certamente, scusami.
No, niente, ciao. So, the two main people in the Columbine shooting are two young men who are in 12th grade, Eric and Dylan. So Eric and Dylan were both unpopular students, targets of bullying. They were essentially outcasts. They called themselves the Trenchcoat Mafia. Now, one important thing to know before we look at these posts is also that Eric had an online presence under the handle Reb, short for Rebel. Dylan, on the other hand, went under names such as Vodka with various letter capitalized. That's going to be referenced, so just remember that that's an online pseudonym of sorts. So prior to shooting up the school, they were charged with mischief, breaking and entering, trespassing, and theft. So they were already troublemakers in a smaller kind of way before the shooting happened. Interestingly enough, in 1998, they made a video called Hitmen for Hire. So it was a school project, but they swore, yelled at the camera, were generally violent and aggressive. So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's look at what these Columbiners have to say. And if you've been here for a while, you know what I say. To protect myself from the bullshit we're about to read, I don't have any holy water. I'm gonna use some setting spray.
Alright.
Okay, so here we have an interaction between two people, and someone asks, why do you like Dylan? Didn't he shoot up Columbine? And this person says, we all have our flaws. I'm all about improving yourself and embracing certain things about yourself that you can't change. But to romanticize murderers or violent people who ruin, if not end, lives, that's to me a little bit more than just your quirky little, oh, you know, I'm human. That's having a serious problem that you need to look into. The thing that needs to be said is that these types of people who romanticize these killers, to me, really are missing the point, because I feel like these people think that they would be exceptions to the rule. They feel like if they had been there with Eric and Dylan would have specifically spared them because they somehow know that they'd understand them better than everyone else and all that. And the thing that I keep screaming every time I read this is, you would have been killed as well. There is nothing to make me believe that you are the special snowflake exception, that they would just be like, oh, I'm not gonna kill whatever Susan because she was on my side the whole time. I don't think you can really make that kind of claim, but I feel like that's in the back of all these people's heads because it's so much easier to romanticize someone if you think that they'd like you, right? It's hard to romanticize someone that you know would kill you, unless you're into that, which I feel like maybe some people are into the idea of being killed by these weirdos. Here there's a post with a caption, "The morning mood board, April 20." So I can only assume that that would be the morning before everything went down. I might be super naive, but I genuinely never in my life expected to find a mood board for this type of real world violence. The whole concept of calling it even a mood board fucks me up because my general understanding of mood boards is that they are a board that represents a type of mood as the name indicates, and people use that for creative endeavors a lot of the time, you know, like when they're designing something to be like, this is the overall mood I want to achieve, which makes it more fucked up when you think that someone wants to achieve that mood or is in fact experiencing that actual mood. That just makes me want to vomit, because if you're experiencing the mood of, oh, ooh, they're so cute while they're on their way to fucking shoot up a school, you should be going to therapy, asking yourself questions, trying to figure out what got fucked up and trying to fix it. Does that sound harsh? I don't care. Then here there's another person who thinks they're very special saying, "If they're not dead, they're not my type." And then the hashtags, the true crime community, with a special inclusion of Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Ted Bundy. Again, like I said, they really think they would have been an exception. Honestly, I don't know what makes you think that Dahmer would not have your head in a fucking jar, okay? Because this is some bullshit. Now, there are particularly embarrassing things that aren't even angering as much as they're just so cringy and so uncomfortable that you just feel the type of embarrassment you feel when you find your 7th grade emo pictures. Imagine you meeting Eric for the first time and he thinks you're absolutely amazing and then gives you this look, asking you, "What's your name?" Bitch, if I got any kind of look, I would run, okay? Like, I would run away. I don't need, no. Here we have another one of those. Imagine having lunch with Eric and Dylan, and when Eric wasn't paying attention, Dylan started to say that Eric really liked you, but before Dylan can finish, Eric turns around and gives him this look. And so there's just like an image of a harsh look. Okay, big deal. So this is the thing that I wonder about. So in my mind, there are two major roads these people take. They take one road where they accept that they're talking about killers, Eric and Dylan, but they disassociate Eric and Dylan from being killers and see them as these Tumblr soft boys or something. So they disassociate violence with the people, or think they wouldn't be subjected, so they're the exception. Or there's the other road that concerns me even more, where they keep the two associated. So they keep Eric and Dylan intricately associated with violence, with this disgusting behavior, with this outcast complex of we were bullied, so, you know, we can do this and it's justified. They like that. And that's kind of what scares me the most about this, that in both situations, there's just a clear misunderstanding of reality, or a clear willing delusion that in either way there's some kind of justifiable reason to romanticize them. Does that make sense? So then there is this aesthetic, I don't know if it's a mood board, this aesthetic editing of Eric and Dylan, including the vodka and the Reb names, parts of their diaries or journals, whatever you want to call it. Up at the top you can see that it says, "I prefer dead boys" with Eric and Dylan, which it's just creepy and fucked up to say that. Even if they weren't killers, it's creepy to say that. I don't know, it's just like a weird fetishizing of the fact that they're dead. It makes me think of necrophilia and just weird ass shit. Finally, and this is perhaps the worst, I think this is genuinely the worst shit I've ever seen under the Columbiners hashtag. And here we have a young woman. She's wearing a hat that says Reb, and her shirt says Wrath, which was another one of their little themes of Eric and Dylan. And then she's standing in front of the fucking Columbine Memorial. Okay, you know, like, as much as I can live with these people on the internet disrespecting on the internet, the idea that they would feel like they should go out of their way to go to the memorial and pose in front of it like this, spitting in the face of all the people that died, spitting in the face and all the people that got injured, spitting in the face of the parents, spitting in the face of anyone who was affected. That is not only disgusting and reprehensible, but genuinely, I can't believe that there's no kind of law protecting the sanctity of these types of places that have endured some kind of devastation, because that's actually disgusting. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I ruined my own day, probably yours too at this point. Let me know what you think about all this. Let me know if you've ever come in contact with this dark side of the true crime community. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.